spotlighting the very best at Geneva College Golden Tornado Athletics. This is Tornado Tuesday. And now, here are your hosts, Van Zanik and Andrew Fee.
Welcome back to Tornado Tuesdays. I'm Andrew Fee with Van Zanik. We're excited to give you an update of all the action, Geneva Athletic action from last week. Pretty successful week, Van. The men's basketball team continues to roll, beating Chatham and Bethany last week. The women's team beat Bethany on Wednesday and then lost a tough one here against Chatham on Saturday. And the men's volleyball team only played one match and went up to Teal and won 3-0. So a good week. Let's start with men's basketball. They're rolling.
Yeah, and they're getting contributions from a lot of people. And I think when talking with Coach Sanacera, he's so excited about the balance that they're providing right now. I mean, obviously, Lyle Tipton has been really good. He was the D3 Hoops, one of the players of the week in the nation last week in Division III. So coming off a great week, he continued with 24 points in the victory against Bethany. And then really a team effort, set a school record on Saturday against Chatham with 17 threes. And, we talked early in the season, that's not the number of threes they were taking, not necessarily what the game plan calls for, but when you're making them, Joel Stutz in particular on Saturday had a really huge game with 25 points. So when you're making threes and things are clicking really well, it's tough not to shoot them when you have open looks. And I want to give some kudos to Amos Luptak too, because he's really, really kind of been the spark that's kind of got things going, and his ability to penetrate and open up things on the outside has really been great. And so really happy for the guys. They've won 5 in a row. They're 5-1, sitting atop the conference, tied with Westminster. Obviously, the Titans coming to town here Wednesday for a first place showdown, which will be fun. But it's just nice to see the consistency, the success. And again, when they went into Chatham, I mean, again, remember that they destroyed Chatham last year in the semifinals of the conference tournament at Chatham. And so you had to believe the Cougars were kind of sitting waiting on them. And Chatham got off to a good start. Geneva, slow start, but was able to recover quickly. So for their ability to come back and beat an opponent that you knew were ready for them really speaks volumes about the level that they're playing at right now. So, the sky's the limit at this point. So just a few more games left in the regular season and hopefully a pretty good seed going into the tournament. So just hope this roll can continue for a few more weeks.
Yeah, no doubt. And in the women, to touch on the Bethany game in particular, they scored 56 points in the second half, struggled in the first quarter, and then just came out and dominated the second half. And to quote Dr. Trout, it was grinder ball in the second half.
So. Yeah, it was really the first time, and we've talked about the style of play, up and down, a lot of pressure, trying to force turnovers, get some easy baskets on the offensive side. And it was really the first time that we saw that formula come to fruition. It was clear that by the fourth quarter, Bethany was just gassed. And the pressure that Geneva was providing defensively, Keely Shaw had, I think, 8 steals in the game, which really sparked things. She was in the starting lineup for the first time this past week. And so, again, leading to some easy baskets, her and Cynthia Stewart as well, but again, Emily Melnick, I mean, she had 28 points. She couldn't miss. And when she gets going like that on a roll, shooting a three, just a really tough team to stop. So it was fun to watch, and really kind of a similar story on Saturday against Chatham. Got off to another slow start, well behind, fell down by as many as 19 points early in the third quarter. By the end of the third quarter, Geneva was down by 4. And I think they cut it to 2 at one point. And so you kind of were expecting that roll to continue into the fourth quarter, and the offense just shut off. And it just wasn't a very productive fourth quarter. And give Chatham credit for holding Geneva off there in the fourth quarter and coming away with a win. So you certainly start to see glimpses of what this is supposed to look like. And it's been fun at times, frustrating at times as well, I'm sure, for Coach Grinder, for some folks watching. But you can definitely see the glimpses. It's been a really good combination of some of the new faces that have come in to be productive, and also some of the folks that the upperclassmen, the Tiptons, the Melnicks, Bella Roth, have really been productive as well. So it's nice to see that balance. And again, hopefully they can finish strong here in the regular season with a couple games left here, and then head to the playoffs and see what happens.
Yeah, and then men's volleyball. They went up to Teal on Thursday and won 3-0. The last set was really the only one that was close. I believe they won 25-11 in the first two sets. So really, Curtis Thomas, 21 assists, pretty good night for him. But good to see them. It wasn't an AMCC game in terms of conference record, but it is AMCC team. And it's good to see them get back in the win column.
Yeah, first time they've played against someone that they're going to have to compete against in conference play, and so Teal for sure, similar to Geneva, they're both members of the PAC, but they compete in the AMCC in men's volleyball. So first time they got to see an AMCC opponent and handled them pretty handily. 25-11, 25-11 in the first two sets. So clearly they had control of that match. Maybe got a little soft in the third set a little bit. Maybe let some other folks get in, get some playing time, get some evaluation for Coach Concert. But they were able to pull it out and get a win in three sets. So again, we've talked about the level of competition that the volleyball team has played to this point in non-conference play. Got a chance, a rematch with Mount Union coming up this week again. So leading up, they don't start conference play till mid-March. And so hopefully by then they'll really have played probably more matches than any other team in the conference up to that point. Really good competition. So you hope that will lend to some good results once the conference officially begins. But I think Coach Concert has his team in a pretty good spot.
Yeah, it will be exciting to watch this week. So you mentioned Westminster. Both basketball teams compete against Westminster on Wednesday. I think it's a really important game for the men, but it's almost more important for the women at this point. They're battling to be in the middle of the pack, and really, I think you want to be on the top side of that middle, and this game is really important for them. And then the men, as you mentioned before, first place game for both teams.
Yeah, the way the postseason in the conference is going to work this year, it's really essential to be in the top six. If you're in the bottom 4, 7 through 10, you have to play that extra game that first weekend on the 13th of Saturday. So if you can get to the 6th spot, you can avoid playing that first round game. Wait for your opponent until Monday. So again, Geneva's kind of right in that 5, 6, 7 mix right now with some other teams. So and Westminster's right there with them. So a big game for sure for Coach Grinder and the men. I mean, basically playing for first place. And of course, you understand if you walk away with the regular season with the number 1 seed, you control your own destiny. You keep winning, you're going to be playing at home. So it would be really special to have the conference championship here at Matheny Fieldhouse on March 20th. That would be really fun. So, but a lot of work to be done for sure. The guys are playing well. It's nice to see Geneva and Westminster. Those of you that understand the rivalry between these two schools, it's nice when both teams are playing well. It has a lot of meaning, and so you have that enthusiasm already built into the rivalry. But when first place is on the line, it makes it that much more special.
You can kind of feel the rivalry setting in already early this week. Coaches are emailing back and forth. Everything is getting a little exciting already. But really, what's exciting for this week as well is the women's volleyball team kicks off and cross country this Saturday. So we're starting to get to that point where everyone's starting to play. It's getting a little busier down here, but obviously we're just really excited to see that.
Well, for these student athletes, the fall student athletes that had the disappointment of not being able to compete in the fall. It's been a long roller coaster ride up and down. Trying to figure out what's going to happen, going through the whole semester without competing, having schedules changed, adjusted. And so now here we are, Thursday night. The women get an opportunity to open their season against Waynesburg, and they're going to play a doubleheader. It's an interesting format. Only the first game will count in the conference standings. The second game is considered a non-conference game. So not every date is like that, but if both teams agree, they can play a doubleheader because they play a number of dates. And so that'll be nice for Coach Smith to get going. And, we know what her expectations for her team are. So hopefully they can get off to a good start to make her predictions come true. And then cross country, they're going to be competing on Saturday as well for the first time. And again, a group of athletes that have had an up and down season. Both, the indoor track season was canceled. And so here we are with cross country leading into the outdoor season coming up later this spring. So it's exciting time for these kids to finally get an opportunity to compete. And like you mentioned, within the next 3 or 4 weeks, it's going to be a free for all down here. Everyone's going to be competing at the same time. So fun for sure, challenging, but exciting. And it's better than the alternative when nobody was playing. So we'd rather have everybody playing instead.
Yeah. And men's and women's basketball will take on Teal on Saturday, and men's volleyball will take on Hiram, which will be another good match for them to kind of see where they are in the conference without that truly counting. So a busy week.
And it's going to be senior night too for the women. It'll be their final home game, most likely Saturday night against Teal. So, and the PAC is allowing the senior parents to come into the facility, which will be great for them, great for the seniors to have their folks there and have a little bit of a ceremony, get a chance to watch them firsthand for the first time this year. And then the men's team will have their senior day next Saturday, the makeup game against Franciscan Saturday, the 6th. That'll be their last home game, regular season home game. So we'll honor the men's seniors that night. So nice to have some actual parents in the facility for a basketball game.
Yeah, it's we're so grateful to the PAC and leadership under Dr. Traup, the Presidential Council, to make that decision, and that really means a lot to the student athletes and the parents and guardians. So, but busy week. We'll be back next week, hopefully reporting on some Geneva victories. Thanks so much for watching.